Imagine standing in a ring, heart pounding, knowing that within seconds, the man across from you, a beast named Mike Tyson, could knock you out with a single punch. This is not a Hollywood movie. This is the reality that terrified every fighter who ever faced Iron Mike. The early storm, before the world knew his name, before the flashing cameras and the million-dollar paychecks, Mike Tyson was just a kid from Brooklyn, born in 1966, abandoned by his father, surrounded by poverty, crime, and the unforgiving streets of Brownsville, where survival was more important than schooling and dreams often died young. Tyson's childhood wasn't just rough, it was chaos, shaped by violence, street gangs, and more than 30 arrests before he was even 13. But it was during one of these arrests that his fate changed forever when a counselor saw something different in him: raw power, explosive energy, and an uncontrollable fire. Finding a master. That fire was tamed and sharpened by a man named Cus D'Amato, a legendary boxing trainer who didn't just see a troubled teen. He saw a future world champion, and under Cus's care, Tyson moved into his home, trained every single day with monk-like discipline, and learned the art of boxing like a soldier learning war. Cus didn't just teach Tyson how to punch. He taught him how to think like a warrior, how to become a machine inside the ring, and how to carry the ancient philosophy that the greatest weapon wasn't strength, but fear. Fear that he would channel, control, and unleash. The rise of a monster. At just 18, Tyson turned pro, and the world had never seen anything like him. Fights that didn't last past the first round, opponents who crumbled before a single punch landed, and a crowd that showed up knowing they were about to witness destruction. He was a human wrecking ball, moving with the speed of a lightweight and the force of a heavyweight, bobbing and weaving with animal instinct, and landing uppercuts that could drop a tree. By the time he was 20, Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history, a record still unbroken. A reign of terror. What followed was a reign of terror, one opponent after another, all crushed under the might of Tyson's fists. And it wasn't just the wins that made him legendary, it was how he won, finishing fights in under a minute, knocking men unconscious with one blow, and walking away like a silent predator who had no emotion left to feel. For a moment, Mike Tyson wasn't just a boxer. He was a force of nature, a storm in human form, and when you bought a Tyson ticket, you weren't hoping for a good fight. You were hoping to survive long enough to see the fight. Fame, fortune, and the fall. But when you rise like a rocket, sometimes the crash is just as spectacular. Fame brought fortune, and fortune brought trouble, with women, money, and fake friends surrounding Tyson like vultures circling a wounded lion, waiting for the moment he'd fall. Then came 1992. Tyson was convicted of assault and sentenced to 6 years in prison, a moment that shocked the world. And while some said he was finished, others knew that this was just another chapter in a book that was still being written in blood, sweat, and fire. The comeback beast released in 1995, Tyson returned to the ring. Not the same boy from Brooklyn, but a hardened man with a darker energy and something even more dangerous than skill: rage. And though the comeback wasn't perfect, and losses came along the way, the fear remained. Even when he wasn't at his best, Tyson's name still struck fear. Whether it was his controversial fights, his infamous ear-biting incident against Evander Holyfield, or his brutal knockouts, Tyson was never ordinary. He was chaos wearing gloves, a living contradiction of genius and madness. The evolution of Tyson. In time, age caught up with the power, and Tyson stepped away from boxing, no longer the destroyer of men, but now a soul searching for peace. A man who had been the world's most feared fighter, now raising pigeons, speaking about mental health, appearing in movies, and even returning to exhibition fights for charity and respect. He reinvented himself, not by running from the past, but by embracing it, turning pain into wisdom and violence into vulnerability, showing a side of Tyson the world had never truly seen before, a philosopher in a fighter's body. The legacy. Mike Tyson isn't just a name in boxing history. He is a symbol of raw potential, untamed power, and the terrifying beauty of what happens when a man becomes more than an athlete. When he becomes a myth, a legend, a force that leaves a permanent scar on the soul of the sport. Because in every fighter today who enters the ring with fear in their heart, there's a shadow behind them whispering, reminding them that once there was a man named Tyson who didn't just fight to win, but to dominate, to destroy, to conquer. He was faster than fear, stronger than doubt, and more dangerous